Welcome to Equine Guelph's Research Radio, a look at the cutting-edge research taking place at the University of Guelph, brought to you by SSG Gloves. I'm Norm Borg. Electrifying discoveries in joint cartilage and fetlock solutions are taking place at Equine Guelph, and our guest, Dr. Mark Hurtig, will share his latest work on using electroarthrography as a new form of diagnostics in this area. But first, SSG Gloves are on the cutting edge too. Introducing the new SSG 10 Below waterproof glove. The SSG Polar Fleece is now treated with something called thermal feelings material, otherwise known as winter sun. This increases glove warmth. The new synthetic leather backing improves waterproofing and flexibility, and then you add our Thinsulate lining and digital palm, and you've got 4 layers of warmth. The 10 Below waterproof glove from SSG. See your SSG dealer for details. Welcome back to Research Radio. Dr. Mark Hurtig is developing a non-invasive way to assess joint cartilage health in fetlocks using electroarthrography. Dr. Hurtig, welcome.
Thanks very much, Norm.
What led you to explore ETA for its diagnostic potential in this area?
Well, we had been investigating osteoarthritis and cartilage repair for some time. And one of the big deficiencies in the horse industry and also in human health is some quick way of assessing cartilage health and cartilage thickness in joints. And without relatively complex and expensive devices like MRI, we really have to make clinical decisions based on ultrasonography or X-rays, and those really don't represent cartilage very accurately.
Now, you've taken a very almost slap on the forehead kind of approach, because you're using just small electrodes and measuring the difference in electrical responses to determine if there is any damage there. And you've even taken a page from the gaming world to create the platform on which to further develop those measurements. Tell us about that.
Well, it is a very interesting story, actually, because we always thought that cartilage would be very difficult to assess at a distance or non-invasively. But in fact, it's like the heart. It does produce electrical signals, but those electrical signals are very small, and they are transmitted through the soft tissues to the skin, but they need to be picked up with electrodes on the skin that are carefully and meticulously attached with a little drop of adhesive glue. Mm-hmm. When we do that, as the horse loads the joint we're interested in, and right now we're studying the fetlock, we can see that there are electrical impulses produced in various parts of the fetlock joint from the electrodes and the response to loading. In order to understand these, we need to know at what rate the horse is loading the fetlock and the timing of that. And in the human side of the research equation, they've been using the commercial Wii board from the Wii gaming platform. Mm-hmm. And that's just a little force platform that people stand on to participate in that game that interfaces with the software. It turns out we can't use that in the horse because the horse is too heavy for it. Right. So we have to develop our own Wii board, which will actually look like a horseshoe that we'll put inside of a boot, like an easy boot, and we'll just strap that on the horse's foot.
So gaming meets equine science.
I'm afraid so.
What have the preliminary results revealed on live animal testing?
Well, we've done a limited number of live animals, and we've done quite a few fetlock joints that we have gotten from horse abattoirs. The live horses show us that, yes, the signals can be detected, and yes, they're coincidental with loading of the fetlock joint. The more load you put on the fetlock joint, the higher the signal recorded at the skin. So this tells us that there's some potential to assess the horse, particularly with some kind of protocol that involves it loading and unloading the fetlock.
More with the good doctor in just a moment. But first, winter is around the corner, and there's nothing you want more when working outside than to have warmth, comfort, and flexibility at the coldest temperatures. SSG has your glove. Introducing the new SSG 10 Below waterproof glove. The polar fleece is treated with something called thermal feelings or winter sun, and this increases glove warmth. There's a new synthetic leather backing which improves waterproofing and flexibility. Then there's our Thinsulate lining and digital palm giving you 4 layers of warmth. The 10 Below waterproof glove from SSG. See your SSG dealer for details. Now, the fact that this is non-invasive is encouraging. Does this mean that the next step might be to use a similar method on different areas of the anatomy, different parts of musculature and bone structure? It's not that far off?
Well, we need to restrict this really to tissues that will produce an electrical signal. And because cartilage has a lot of electrolytes flowing in essentially water, it's about 80% water, and that those electrolytes, those ions, change their distribution as the cartilage is squeezed by load bearing. That creates an effect of electrolytes flowing past fixed charges, which are in the matrix. Sounds complicated, but it really is just like a battery. That's how a battery produces current.
Going back to the Wii board type of method of weight loading, I understand that Equine Guelph, your department, your people in particular, are working with other scientists to develop a more portable machinery or hardware that vets can take to the shed rope.
Right. Our aim is to make this into a clinically useful tool, and not in the long term. In the short term, we need to produce this kind of device. And our plan is to create an instrumented shoe that can be strapped on a horse's foot. Probably it will look like an easy boot with a few fine wires coming out of it, and we'll just tape those to the horse's leg. And from those wires, there'll be a signal produced that can be picked up by a radio-like device, much like the way your Bluetooth headset picks up your cell phone.
Fascinating stuff. Doctor, thank you so much for this. Best of luck in your continued research in this area. Anything that is diagnostic in nature that can be non-invasive is better for everybody involved, not the least of which the animal. So thank you for this.
My pleasure, Norm.